this team to be in the Orange Bowl after a tough start to the season with a couple of losses?
Well, I think it says a lot about our kid, about the being able to fight through adversity. I think a lot of times we take for granted it's easy to do things when things are going good, but being able to fight through adversity, that tells you a lot about the character of the players on this team. Tells you a lot about the just the tenacity to want to get better every day. And I think that's the thing as a coach that you want to see, is you want to see improvement every time you go out there. And I think what these players have accomplished, I think that shows that.
Were there, after that Louisville game seems so far away now, were there changes that had to be made after that game, or was it just things start clicking? What was the difference?
Well, I think people have asked that a lot. I think in every game, momentum is a huge thing. I don't care what game it is, whether it was the Louisville game or the Florida game or anywhere in between. There are always 4 or 5 plays in the game that are going to affect the outcome of the game. You don't know when those plays are going to come. And those plays can be huge, and they swing momentum. Momentum's something that we don't talk about a lot. But I will say this, from that time, we feel like, our whole thing was we've got to go back out, we've got to work, we've got to get better every day. Control what you can control, but the whole thing is to improve.
What does that say about the players? Because a lot of times that can go the other way, and it's like we can't come back from this, the way that those players fought.
Well, I think that says a lot about their character. I think that's one thing that I give Jimbo a lot of credit for in the evaluation process, is evaluating, not only athletic ability, but people who love the game and that love to compete. And like I said, it's easy when you talk about competition. Competition's not doing it when everything's easy. Competition's doing it no matter what the situation is. It's trying to win no matter what situation you're put in. And you know what? That's what these guys are going to go through when they leave here. That's what you go through in life. I mean, every day you wake up, things aren't going to be easy. It's not going to go the way you think it's supposed to. So you're going to have to fight through adversity. And I think, again, I give a lot of credit to our players and the character and what they're made of.
Charles, speaking of that adversity, what has this year been like losing Derwin, and then of course you lose Nate, and then there's kind of a little bit of a self-realization after what happened against UNC. What's it been like to navigate this year and then kind of get to where you are now?
Well, people talk about that, and yes, it's a fact. I mean, that was 2 huge losses for us. At the end of the day, though, I mean, we're not in the business of making excuses. I mean, in football or in any sport, somebody goes down, it's the next guy up. And the biggest thing that we tried to concentrate on was making sure we kept developing the players. I believe in what Jimbo talks about all the time. Listen, don't worry about the results, worry about the process, worry about going out there and working every day. And I can tell you from early on, when some of these young guys got opportunities, they got better. I mean, you can see, Kyle Myers has gotten better, true freshman. Levante Taylor's gotten better. Carlos Becker in the last couple of games has really come on. A.J. Westbrook. So, yes, it was a tough blow. I mean, we would have loved to have had those players. They mean a lot to our program, but it's one thing you can't dwell on that, because if you dwell on those things, then there's no way that you can get better.
Charles, what role did the Miami game play in moving this team forward? That was a close game. You're right here in this stadium.
Right.
How did that kind of play into the evolution of this team?
Well, I think I think that's what we talk about, momentum. I think that gave us a momentum, but I think it was a situation where we basically had our backs to the wall, and we said, you got to make a decision, on how we want this season to turn out. But it was a huge. I mean, there were, and again, I think of 4 or 5 plays in that game that were critical plays. sometimes those plays, you know, maybe the general public, you know, you don't look at those plays as saying, "Whoa, that's a dynamic play," but there were. I can remember 4 or 5 times in that game where there were some situations where it'd be third down. I think like getting off the field on third down early in that game is just creating some momentum. I think was a big key. Late in the game in the red zone when Tavares made the interception down there, that was critical. I think there was another play that happened in that game. Tavares had a chance to intercept the pass to end the game, and didn't make the play on the ball. But rather than that affecting us the next play, it's coming back the next play and making a play the next play. That's how you change momentum, is doing those kinds of things. So yes, I think that was a big part of our season.
What have you seen from Michigan and how they challenged this defense?
I think that what I think Coach Harbaugh does a great job of is he plays a lot of people, and they all have key roles in the offense. And they're all, I mean, when you look at who carries the ball or who catches the ball, who throws the ball, I mean, they're very balanced. To me, it's a true pro-style offense. He does a good job of changing personnel groupings, changing formations, making you find certain guys at certain times. It's just, and I go back, I remember playing against his dad when I first got in college coaching. His dad was the head coach at Western Kentucky. Tremendous coach. I mean, he was one of the, when I first got in the business, one of the guys that all young coaches looked up to. And you can see some of the plays that he runs. You can see the influence of his father. Maybe not in the exact same way they line up, but the plays that they run, I can see. I can remember when Coach Harbaugh, and that's a sign of a good coach, is what you accumulate over the years, and you pull out of that bag and use those things. But he does a tremendous job. Does a good job of keeping you off balance. Run pass, first, second down. I think they do a good job of getting in manageable third down situations. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us.
Last time we spoke to you in a bowl game situation, you kind of conveyed the emotion of how happy you were to be here in that time. I mean, there was, of course, some difficult points in the year. Fans were frustrated, some calling for you to be gone. What was that like for you to deal with? And I guess try to ignore those distractions while still trying to fix this defense.
Well, first of all, we got the greatest fans in the world. And I think every coach that wants to be at this level, which most do, are appreciative to have fans that feel that way. You don't want to work somewhere where fans don't want to be at the top. Our whole mindset is to go out and be the very best we can be. I mean, that's you want to coach at places like that. I'm very happy at Florida State, and it's because of the coaching staff that I'm able to work with every day. It's these players that you get to coach every day. We're very young in a lot of places, but that's what makes it rewarding as a coach, is to coach those guys, to see those guys develop. That's what coaching is about. And then again, like Coach talked about, just focus on the things that you can control, and the results will take care of themselves.
Charles, you mentioned that Miami game is sort of like a crossroads of the season. When you're in a situation like that, is it a challenge to find, I guess, the right buttons to push with individual players as far as encouragement or fire, or whatever the case may be, to kind of keep everything together?
I think you said it exactly right. I think the whole key to coaching and getting people to peak at a certain time is knowing what buttons to push. And again, creating that momentum. Again, it's the same for the players as it is for the coach. You don't know when those plays are coming. There are those 4 or 5 plays that are going to affect that outcome. You don't know when they're coming. So you gotta assume that it's every play of the game. You gotta play the play like it's that play. You gotta coach that play like it's that play. But I think it's one of those things where, yes. I mean, there's times you got to encourage, and then there's times you got to put the foot down.